Now I'm going to describe the functions of the Sovereign GT so you'll have a clearer and better understanding of what they are and what they do. Now this control on the left, the bottom left, is your volume control. What that does is it turns the Sovereign on and it actually controls the depth. So you need to turn this fully clockwise because that is your depth signal booster. Now this one here in the middle is your sensitivity. Right now it's set in auto, and if you listen you can hear it click. When clicked just out of auto, the Sovereign GT is at its most sensitive. And the thing to remember is that this control actually has been described as back to front, because the more clockwise you go, the less sensitive it becomes, not the other way around. So turned fully clockwise, the detector is desensitized completely and will only find surface to shallow targets. So for most conditions you need to keep this in auto the entire time. This one here, your threshold control, that is very important because it controls the buzzing I described earlier in your earphones. If set too loud, like that, you won't hear the subtle target responses because you won't be able to differentiate a ground noise from a target noise. So we recommend just a slight buzzing, just barely under the radar. If you have it off or too quiet, you actually can have a depth loss as well because you won't hear the little signals from shallow things and small targets that are in the ground. In fact, you could miss them if they're in medium to moderately mineralized soil. So for now, we'll just leave this buzzing gently. Right, we have our discrimination and we have our notch. Now, discrimination is multifaceted. It controls a lot of conductive targets. It controls the entire conductive band, and the higher you turn it, the less sensitive it becomes to precious metals, brass, silver, copper, gold, etc. Now, at full discrimination, that's all you will find. You will find only copper and silver coins. So we recommend to keep this either off or as low as possible, because you will hear iron nulling out with that threshold dip and the kind of noise that it gives off. I'll tell you what, let's take a small break from describing the controls for a moment and we'll have a look at some other features to be found on the fantastic Sovereign GT. Now we're going to talk about a feature that's on your Sovereign GT. It's AccuTrack ground balance, and it is not found on any other Sovereign model. Now it's very important to get your sensitivity right and your ground balance on virtually every site you go onto, because otherwise you won't have smooth performance. On the Sovereign GT it is ridiculously easy to ground balance and set your sensitivity accordingly. Now AccuTrack, what it is, it's digital ground filtering in the discrimination mode and AccuTrack digital ground balance in the all metal mode. And as I said before, this is not on any other Sovereign model. It is very, very effective for searching for small, low conductive targets in mineralized soils or conductive elements like sea salt. So you're guaranteed better results with AccuTrack than any other type of ground balance that there is on the Sovereign models. Now, how you do it, it's absolutely ridiculously easy again to set up. What you do is you turn your detector on. I'm going to set the threshold so you can hear it. You flick the left switch up to all metal and you flick the right switch up to track. Lower the coil to the ground. There might be a few seconds of variability, and when it evens out, you're balanced. And that's it, we're balanced. Okay then, let's continue with the controls. Now, notch has been described as a secondary discrimination, and what it is, it's only sensitive to one conductive band, and that's aluminum, especially pull tabs and ring pulls of the old-fashioned variety, and somewhere around here it begins to discriminate them out. Now, if you want to search a park, you can actually have your notch set to reject ring pulls. You can take your ordinary discrimination and turn it up just to reject foil, and you will still find gold rings and silver coins. It's a good way to hunt with your Sovereign GT. Now the other switches. Now the iron mask is another function. We'll also describe that in a minute. But suffice to say that it's on now and it's off when the metal switch is facing down. Okay, we have track, we have fixed, and we have pinpoint. Pinpoint here. Now if you want to pinpoint, you can actually have this one down and this one up, and it helps quite a lot. Now band 1, band 2, that actually is a type of a noise cancel. You can hear it change frequency there, just enough to move away from a source of interference, which could be another detectorist nearby. And then we have our threshold silent search switch here, and how you operate that is, first of all, you need to have your threshold fairly near off, barely audible. Flick your silent search and your threshold is gone. So it can make for more comfortable searching on an irony site. Amongst all the accessory items for the Sovereign detectors, there is one that is really worthy of an investment. It's the DTI meter, and we'll have a closer look at that now. But what it does is it converts the tone, the conductivity of the tone from the target, it converts the tone into a number so that you should know ahead of time what the target might be before you recover it. So the detector works by showing you the differences between similar targets. For instance, this is a 50-cent euro coin. That is one number. This is a 20-cent euro coin. There probably is a variation in the numbers. And this is a 10-cent euro coin, a smaller coin. So that's what it does. It actually converts the conductive sounds that you're getting through your headphones into a number so that you know what the target might be before you recover it. Now there may be times when you want to have manual control over your Sovereign GT. Maybe you want to go deeper, or maybe you want to go shallower. So there are options on the Sovereign GT. There are at least 3 different features that enable you to override the detector manually to get the results you want, and we'll show you how to do that next. Now there are actually 3 different ways that you can control your Sovereign GT manually, and it might be beneficial in certain instances. We already described the volume control, which is your depth control. If you don't want to go very deeply, you can turn this down, maybe 12 o'clock, or even if you lost a ring in your garden, you could just turn it somewhere like that, quarter to whatever that is, quarter to 9. So let's leave it at 12 o'clock, so we don't want to go very deeply. Now you can also reduce your sensitivity. Remember, this is auto, and click just out of auto, it's at its maximum sensitivity, but reduce that to 12 o'clock and you're searching shallower than normal, and reduce again and you're searching very shallow, probably surface to 4 inches. Now you can also reduce your threshold. You can turn it down completely. You can either do that manually, and that will reduce your signals as well, because it will reduce the gain coming back from the signals. In other words, the signals won't be as loud. But you can also do that with the silent search, as we saw earlier. Just turn that down slightly there and press that, and you're done. So on the other hand, if you want to go deeper, this is probably the best way to do it. So turn it on fully clockwise, threshold just buzzing there, and clicked just out of auto. Now we'll take off our notch, reduce that, we don't want any discrimination on. We'll take off that discrimination as well. We're in disk mode, we have iron mask on, and we're in fix, which is going to maintain the ground balance for us automatically. And that's it. That's how you operate your Sovereign GT to greater benefit in a manual sensitivity setting. Okay then folks, we're going to turn off this Sovereign GT gold and treasure metal detector, and we hope that you'll have learned something from the video. I certainly had great pleasure in bringing it to you, and as always, may the wind be at your back, may you have fair weather, and may you find what you're looking for. I certainly hope you do. Good hunting, and thanks for watching.